in the black community. This is not the majority of black people, but it is a phenomenon in the black community. And I include in that gangsta culture, having babies just because you want to have a baby, not forming family units because they're not important in your mind to form them, values that I won't bring up here, but the values are certainly not Christian values. They're certainly not values that relate to any religion. They are rather amoral values, if I may. Rebellious, however you like to characterize them. Now, how would this phenomenon fit into your paradigm of the black community being a spiritual community?
Well, I think that the same phenomenon that's happening in the black community is happening in the larger American society at large. Something has replaced the traditional communal input, and that is American media and American popular culture. Whereas children used to be outside playing with one another or sitting on front porches listening to other people tell stories, they are now parked in front of televisions. They are now plugged into earphones that they're listening to vile music. They're going to theaters at an incredible rate. They can run to the corner video store and get soft pornography from the time that they're able to put the money on the counter. And we are now in competition with a powerful vehicle or vehicles that are pushing aside the traditional base of every ethnic and cultural group. However, still in African American culture, the various African American church denominations are still the strongest institutions that we have, and they're the vehicles by which we've been able to educate, early education, to get children to listen, to learn, to get them to read, to get them to respect adult authority, to get them to recite before audiences, and to get them to operate as a cohesive group.
What about marriage? That's where people they meet each other in church and they get married.
And I was telling a group of women recently, when I was a kid, Sunday afternoon teas were where young single people met one another. They met one another in a kind of loosely chaperoned environment. The girls dressed their best and the guys acted their best in order to impress one another. There was a more genteel environment. And I think that environment still exists, but it's being drowned out by a louder speaker. You know, like those cars that come through your community, they have the loudspeakers and shake your windows. That's what's happening with popular culture. They've turned up the volume. And it doesn't mean that the traditional ways that we've been able to advance ourselves in this society are not there. We just don't have the organized effort to make it known. And that's what I believe has to be done among Black women. We must realize that now we need to organize to defend our cultural way of life, or it will slowly be taken away from us.
How are you?